This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
In June of 1965, Marine Corps Major General Lewis W. Walt took command of the 3rd Marine Amphibious Force, 3rd MAF, which was responsible for I Corps, comprised of the 5 northernmost provinces in South Vietnam. Walt served in combat in the Pacific with the Marine Raider Battalion in World War II. These were specialized units trained for guerrilla warfare behind Japanese lines, and this experience may have increased Walt's understanding of insurgency warfare. During the war, Walt served with distinction, and he received a number of decorations for his heroism. Walt then served in the Korean War before his later assignment in South Vietnam. Walt agreed with the enclave strategy Krulak proposed, and when he evaluated the situation in Vietnam after he assumed command of the 3rd MAF, he became even more convinced an approach more oriented to an enclave strategy was necessary. General Westmoreland was the commander of all the U.S. military forces in South Vietnam, but Walt was allowed some freedom of interpretation in his actions because he was a senior regional commander. Rather than giving Walt direct orders, Westmoreland gave him broader missions to accomplish. Walt was then able to use his own judgment as to how to accomplish the missions. As a result of this, Walt was able to pursue the enclave strategy he favored in I Corps to some extent. The plan Walt intended to implement for the 3 Marine bases of Chu Lai, Da Nang, and Phu Bai was similar in concept to the enclave strategy Krulak presented for the war. He wanted to establish a main line of heavily constructed bunkers capable of supporting each other as the main defensive line for each base. In the event of a major guerrilla attack, the Marines could fight off the attack from these positions. Beyond this line, a line of manned outpost positions would be established from which a mobile defense would be conducted. He stressed that constant patrolling throughout the area should be maintained to prevent the guerrillas from concentrating forces, to gather intelligence, and to give advanced warning of potential attacks on the base defensives. Small reconnaissance patrols would also be sent far beyond the perimeters of the enclaves into areas which had been areas of safety for the guerrillas. When the patrols found guerrilla camps or movement, they could call for airstrikes or artillery attacks. This would keep the guerrilla fighters off balance in areas which were previously safe havens, and because of this, it would show them they were not the only hunters in the war. They were now the hunted. While the plans for the base defenses were being put into place, the Marines innovated to find ways the local South Vietnamese forces could help the Marines defend the enclaves. In the Chu Lai area, joint patrols of local South Vietnamese defense forces and Marines patrolled through the area, and the Marines brought PF units to their camps for training. In the Da Nang region, South Vietnamese Regional Forces, RFs, and Marine units coordinated their various military operations. Also, on patrols and operations in the Da Nang area, Marines used PF militiamen as interpreters and guides. Altogether, these measures worked to add to the defense of the Marine enclaves by capitalizing on the strength of both the South Vietnamese forces and the Marines. Pacification was a critical part of the enclave strategy the Marines were practicing in the I Corps area, and the Marines were trying different ideas in an effort to find methods that would work.